present you with this award, which says End Abuse Long Beach presents Mary Van Valkenburg with its annual Abuse Prevention Award in recognition of over 30 years dedication as a therapist and teacher to ending abuse of women and children in the Long Beach area, December 11th, 2008. Thank you so much. It says End Abuse Long Beach presents the Josephine S. Gambina Foundation with its annual Abuse Prevention Award in recognition of 20 years dedication to supporting programs for the benefit of women and children in the Long Beach area, December 11th, 2008. And Julie, we thank you so very much. Welcome to End Abuse Long Beach. My name is Paula Cohen. I'm president of End Abuse Long Beach, and I'm delighted to report that 2009 was another exceptional year for us. Our board decided to focus on cross-cultural issues this year, and we were fortunate to learn from some wonderful speakers about domestic violence and trafficking in the Asian Pacific community, about domestic violence in the African American community, about domestic violence in the LGBTQ community, about Latina health and how that impacts Latina domestic violence victims, and about impact on immigrant communities relating to domestic violence and child abuse. Some other exceptional programs this year dealt with the issues of homelessness and how that impacts children, and adolescent and child trauma and therapy for adolescent survivors. We were fortunate to be able to distribute enormous amounts of materials in April for Child Abuse Prevention Month, and those materials went out to agencies across Long Beach and beyond. And then in October, to celebrate Domestic Violence Awareness Month, End Abuse Long Beach co-sponsored Long Beach's Domestic Violence Candlelight Vigil, which was a wonderful success. We thank you all for sharing in our success this year in 2009, and we welcome you to join us in 2010 for another exceptional year at End Abuse Long Beach. Thank you.
But really talking about how oppression and violence resulting from oppression affects people of color, and how multi-generational oppression manifests itself in mental illness, family violence, and emotional distress.
Years ago, it sort of used to be the joke that we were called baby snatchers, that snatch and run and ask questions later. We no longer practice that kind of social work. We coined the phrase of strength-based social work, and that's how we practice.
And we tie where children's typical development should be to the effects of homelessness, and begin to individualize a plan that addresses their need to be typically developing and counters the effects of homelessness. And so our effort is really to begin looking at the effects of homelessness prenatally and move down towards kind of addressing the developmental needs, the social and emotional well-being of children in our program.
But when we're looking at these kids, we do see higher rates of sexual physical abuse. Usually in the kinds of kids that we're talking about here, for females, young women, if we're talking about adolescents, the sexual abuse rate, the likelihood of having been sexually abused by the time they're like 16 or 17, and these women is probably in the 30% range. For men, it's probably in the boys and men, it's probably in the 10 to 15% range. And so these early acts in the context of development are obviously, as we're going to see, will produce quite a lot of difficulties.
A cross-dresser. There are more heterosexual cross-dressers than there are homosexual cross-dressers. It's like 98% are heterosexual, so don't make an assumption that if somebody's cross-dressing that they're gay.
Typically, mainstream programs, mainstream social service providers tend to clump everybody into one group, Asian Pacific Islanders, and not understanding that there's such a huge diversity within culture and language and religion, traditional beliefs, and so many things.
My passion is to be with these young people that are 16, 17, and 18 coming out of prison. My passion is also to work with the sex offenders, the young people that have committed a sex crime. And I happen to know that young people do a lot of crazy things, and sex crimes is one of them, even if it's touching a girl or touching another boy or seeing an adult doing some things and turning around and mimicking that.
That she had a situation where a little girl, 12, was going to middle school and she was raped by another student, and during the school day on campus. So what happened was she reported the crime, and then she was re-victimized again by her classmates.
I'm talking about Latino health, but what we see is that she didn't have a place to identify. She didn't have a place to go. There wasn't a large group of women that she could go and connect with, right? So she felt isolated, she felt stressed, she felt like, and within her nucleus, within her family, her husband was completely denying that he was at risk.
Audre Lorde, a feminist scholar and poet, said, "When we speak, we are afraid, but when we are silent, we are still afraid. So we might as well speak, knowing we were never meant to survive."
Are you guys familiar with that? That parent partners are actually parts of private nonprofit agencies that have a contract with these students. They actually do have to have a parent partner available, and that parent partner has to have some professional training.